It's Thursday. We are back for another episode of Mom Talk Live. Super excited to sit down with my mama friends tonight. So, if you've seen me share earlier, tonight's topic is motherhood and mental health. So, I am super excited. I have some Mom Squad members who's going to be gracing us tonight. We're going to be talking about our experiences. We're going to be having this candid conversation. And not only are we going to be talking about our experiences centered around this particular topic, we have a therapist with us tonight who's going to be giving us some professional advice as well. So hurry up, go ahead and share this with another mama who needs to be on here. Go ahead and tag a mama friend who needs to be in on this conversation tonight. And we're going to get started right after this. So welcome, ladies. It's Thursday night. We are here for another episode of Mom Talk Live. I'm super excited to kind of have. Well, I'm kind of excited to have this conversation. I'm glad that we're having the conversation. I don't really know how I totally feel about it though, and I'll get into why a little bit later. I just think, well, one of the things I just think is a deep topic. But before we dive in, I'll let you both go ahead and introduce yourselves, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Hey, I can go first. I'm I'm Danielle Jones, and I am a licensed mental health counselor in upstate New York. I'm also a certified perinatal mental health counselor, and I'm also a doula. So I do a lot of work around moms. Motherhood is my thing. Mental health is my thing. So I'm excited to be here for this conversation tonight. I have two beautiful children of my own. I have a son, he's 7, and I have a daughter that just turned 4 months on Tuesday. So
Yay.
I have a little one. She's not joining us tonight, though.
Okay. Oh, she doesn't get to grace us with her presence tonight.
No, she's sleeping right now, so hopefully she'll stay asleep. We'll see. We'll see. You know, babies be on their own schedule.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Hey everybody, I'm Marion Tyson. I am a mom to an awesome 12-year-old boy. I work as a project manager for a bank, but I am also an aspiring entrepreneur. What else? And I'm here. I'm not an expert on mental health, but I have experience in dealing with it, and especially dealing with it as a mom. And yeah, I'm just here to share my story, I guess.
Awesome. So let's jump in. We got Joyce joining us tonight. Hey, niece, love you. Looking good, girl. Thank you, girl. Thank you. Look, I was excited. Let me just say this real quick. So I was so excited because I didn't put on makeup today. So normally, I put on makeup for the Mom Talk Lives. Or just when I'm kind of just doing anything that has to do with business, I've been wearing it a little bit more. But I noticed that my face was breaking out, and so shout out to Harristina. I don't know if she's watching, but that's one of our Mom Squad members. She gave me some cleanser, and I've been using the cleanser and like the mask and all that. And like I definitely see a difference. Let me just say that. So super excited about that. Kiawana, thank you so much for joining us first live. Yes, so we have a great topic for this to be your first time with us tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. So ladies, let's hop in. I kind of want to start around the fact that people don't really talk a lot about mental health when it comes to moms. I feel like society, sometimes our ancestor generations before us just feel as though we're supposed to grind, we're supposed to do it, we're supposed to just figure it out. If we don't have it together, get it back together. Like it's never really, in my experience, mental health has never really been a huge topic around motherhood because it's like those instincts and you born with it and you can do it. Why do y'all think that? Why do y'all think that's so?
I will say that like from my own personal experience and from just being a therapist that works specifically with moms, a lot of the times when we're talking about mental health, especially in the Black community, we hear a lot about, oh, you just have to pray through it, right? And I think the struggle is that, and I'm a Christian woman, like woman of God. I go to church, I pray, I read my Bible, I believe in faith and all of that. I believe God works things out, but I also do know that mental health is real. And so I think sometimes it might just be the issue that, like, if we are leaning into this idea that we do have a mental health issue going on and like we need help with our mental health, like if that takes away from believing that God is like God, right? And he's going to take care of everything. So I think sometimes it's a religious piece in there that draws or just kind of breaks up our just us leaning into talking about mental health more. So I think a lot of the times we'll hear from our family, oh, you just need to pray, right? And so then that pushes us away from taking care of our mental health, or we start to just kind of want to ignore what's going on with our mental
Mm-hmm.
health. So I think that's part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Good point. Good point.
Shamik, can you repeat the question? Because I want to make sure my answer stays on topic.
So yeah, no problem at all. So I'm just wanting to know from your experience, why don't you think this is a subject, like a big subject when it comes to moms? It's always like, figure it out, you'll get through it, you were born to do this, motherly instincts. Like, why don't this topic come up as much as it probably should?
For moms specifically, I think it's just the age-old adage that we are the pillars of the family. You know, they talk about matriarchs and all that, and so we just seen as so strong and invincible and as superheroes, super women, that
Mm-hmm.
the thought of needing outside help
Mm.
is unimaginable. I mean, and that's the thing, like, and I kind of get it, because even as a kid, like my mom had like a couple surgeries as me growing up. Like one time she got a surgery on her foot, like nothing like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was difficult for me to see my mom groggy from waking up from her surgery. Like it's normal, but I don't like that. That's not my mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not what you
You
used
know?
to, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like for us to even think of and even trying to fathom our moms needing help like that, like, and even as spouses thinking of their wife, they see, especially if they was there, like to see the birth of their kids, like seeing you do the unimaginable, seeing you
Yeah.
perform miracles literally, or God perform miracles through you, um and bringing life into this world. Like, what do you mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where, yeah.
I mean, that's a good point, but then you see so many moms suffer in silence because of it. For example, even me, when I went through postpartum, I didn't realize until years later that I had even went through what I went through. Now, don't get me wrong, I did end up in the hospital. I don't even remember if the doctor even told me, but it wasn't until years later, learning what postpartum depression was, that I understood what I went through. And it's like, nobody in my community, and I'm not giving any fault to anybody in my family. Nobody, like, I'm not gonna say they didn't recognize it, but they didn't talk about it. They didn't say, Tramika, this is what you're going through, right? And so I think I suffered a long time. And then not on top of having the postpartum depression and going and getting through it, then I suffer all the guilt for like how did you get to that place in the first place? Like, how did you get there? You're a mom. This is your kid. You should have never went. And so I suffered years and years of that because nobody sat me down, or there was no learning lessons where they really talked about like, for example, the postpartum depression. And so the fact that the mental health conversation, especially when it comes to Black women, and then moms in general, is not prevalent as much as it should be, definitely is a problem. For sure, definitely is a problem. What has been some of your personal experiences when it comes to mental health?
Yeah. So one thing I did want to share, as you were talking about postpartum depression, is a lot of the times we'll hear people talk about baby blues, like, oh, she just has the baby blues. And I think that's where the breakdown happens too, because like baby blues is a thing. Like, don't get me wrong, it is a thing. But the difference is like baby blues should only be lasting like maybe up to like 2 weeks, right? Once those symptoms
Mm,
continue past 2 weeks, that's where that cutoff is, right? And that's where postpartum depression comes in. And so when I'm working with my moms, that's something that I'm very mindful about. Like, how long has these symptoms been going on?
mhm,
Right? Because at some
mhm.
point, it's no longer baby blues, right? We need to start looking at depression or postpartum depression. For myself, with my 7 year old, I experienced mostly like anxiety during my pregnancy with him and after. I wouldn't say I experienced too much depression, just because I had like a lot of support around me at that time. I mean, my pregnancy was stressful. The situation I was in was stressful. Like it was an unplanned pregnancy, but that doesn't mean unwanted, right? It was just unplanned.
Right, right.
Um, and so it was a stressor. Like I was trying to figure out my life. So it was a lot. I did deal with perinatal anxiety and depression, just a little bit of depression at that time. But like I said, my support system was very strong. So it was very helpful after I had him, because I was living with my mom, my sisters, and my nieces were always around. So I always had somebody there to help. Um, with this most recent pregnancy, it was very difficult. I was diagnosed with postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, and also had depression and anxiety during my pregnancy. Just because I had a lot of different stressors going on. And then also, it was more difficult because now I lived by myself, right? I own my own house. It's just me. I
Mhm.
and my sisters, like they were there, they're still there as part of my support, but I was not living with them, right? So there was no one there at the
Yeah.
house with me every single day, except for my son, and I'm still I have to be a mother to him, right? So
Mhm,
I'm trying to
mhm,
deal with that and still be a mom to him. So it was very, very difficult. I'm definitely like getting on the other side of it at this point. um,
mhm,
One thing I will share, like just being very honest and transparent, is that I chose to take medication to help deal with my depression and anxiety. Um, and I think that's a big stigma too, is that people don't talk about taking medication for these things, right? They think like we shouldn't have to take medication, or like that's just not the way to go. And I tell people, like, if that's something that's going to work for you, medication is really there to like help take the edge off a little bit, so that you can kind of like start to see through the smoke. That's what I call it. Start to see the
I like that analogy.
and be able to like start putting your best foot forward to address what's going on. I was already taking medication before my most recent pregnancy because I had a lot of depression going on, after like the loss of my dad, and just trying
Mm,
to like continue to deal with life and being a mom and just feeling like everything was on top of me. I was like, yes, I need to take some medication to kind of help me, just like I said, take the edge off, see through the fog, and be able to put my best foot forward to start taking care of my mental health, because I just felt like I could not do it. Like everything just felt like it was on top of me. So even as a therapist, I think people will think like, oh, but you're a therapist, like you should, like you should be on top of this mental health stuff. You should be fine. But it's like, no,
mhm.
I'm still a woman at the end of the day. I'm still a mom. I still have people like relying on me for so many different things. Like I still go through the exact same thing that all of my moms go through that I'm helping.
Yeah, absolutely. And so even with the medication, because I will say that we had this conversation within the mom squad circle a couple days ago. You talked about that only being a temporary thing, and I think that people think that once you get on the medication, you have to take it for forever until the day you die. And so I think it's key for people to know, if they decide to choose that option, that it is something that should be temporary.
Right. Definitely. It's temporary. For me, it was temporary. Like I no longer take it now, because I was able to just get a better routine for myself when it came to like managing my mental health and really being on top of my coping strategies and self-care. Um, so I no longer take it now, but I know that is an option. Like if I ever get back to that point, I will be okay with calling my doctor. Like, all right, so I need you to go ahead and send that medication because it's getting real over here, right? But it's okay to take medication if you need to. And I think these kind of conversations are important because it starts to normalize it. So I think some people are afraid of medication because no one talks about it, right? We think
Mhm.
nobody's out there taking medication, but it's like, add me to the list. It's me. I am her. I'm taking it. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Marion? What has been some of your personal experiences with mental health?
Well, I'm kind of like you, Tramika, where, I only have my one child. And with him, I experienced postpartum, but it wasn't until years later that I figured out what that was. And so, and it's so funny because I had a long overdue talk with my ex. And like we came to that kind of conclusion that's kind of like what I'll say. Well, it didn't help our relationship, put it that way.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, and neither one of us knew, like I just knew I felt abandoned from him, but he knew, he thought I was acting crazy. Like, and so that was one thing. And it, like, what fed it for me though was I was a single mom, and I had this, I don't know, this thing in my head that was just like, you know better. You should not. Why are you here? This was never supposed to be you. This because like I have it all throughout my family.
Mhm.
Not my mother, but aunts, cousins, and what have you. And like I have the examples of what to do and what
Mhm.
not to do. And so it's just like you should have known better. Like I beat myself up so bad after my son was born. To the point like that was the first time I actually saw a therapist. And
Mm.
so um yeah, so that was that. And I've dealt like once I was able to put like a name to things, I realized that I
Mhm.
dealt with certain things like throughout childhood. Like I had moments of depression. Um, I didn't get the anxiety really until I was an adult, um, that I can remember. But then I also have ADHD. And so in that, I know I've been dealing with since the third grade.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I didn't get diagnosed till I was 27.
Wow.
Yeah, like that has been a roller coaster. Just trying to, knowing what I know about what like about motherhood and about or having an idea of the kind of mom I want to be, but having like that barrier, that block that feels like it prevents me from doing so. That has been, and I'm still navigating it. I'm still
Mhm.
navigating it. I am not medicated. Um, because I guess I can be transparent and share.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I want more kids. I am more single than a Kraft piece of cheese, and
That's
I
hilarious.
don't know. I don't know when that opportunity is going to come about because I'm like, I have to have a husband. I'm not doing this. Hats off to the moms and multiples that do it alone. I'm not cut out for it. I don't even know what I would do with another one by myself. Um, So yeah, so I had to have a husband. So I don't know when that's gonna come about. And so I just turned 34 2 weeks ago, something like that. Um, I am like over cautious about not putting things in my body. So that are unnecessary, I should say. So
Mhm.
and I'm trying to get on this thing. We'll see, one day I might be full vegan. But even just
Mhm.
trying have better options that I eat, exercise more, that sort of thing. Like fertility is the motivation of all of it. And so, and it could be unfounded, it could be paranoia, whatever, but this is the route I've chosen. So I don't have any medication. I keep saying as soon as I know I'm done having kids, give me all the medication. I'm just ready to live my life the way I know it can be. Put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with the way what my one of my friends says better, she's my friend, but she's old enough to be my mom, so she has a lot of wisdom. And she said one thing that her doctor told her a long time ago is it's called better living through chemicals.
No.
And so I um yeah, I wholeheartedly believe in that. So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, and so I would say sharing my experience a little bit more. I went through the postpartum after my first. I had three, so that was like years and years ago. My oldest, she's 18 now, and so went through it. Didn't know what I didn't recognize it. Didn't know until years later. Kind of figured out like what postpartum depression. Like, oh, that's what was going on, right? And so then still kind of living my life, raising kids, being married, and doing all the things. And then I realized on the latter portion, like maybe a year or two ago, that situationally I deal with anxiety. Like certain things give me anxiety, and it's typically those things that I don't necessarily have control over. And so I started seeing the therapist last year around my birthday, which my birthday is in April, so I'm coming up on a year. And when I tell you, hands down, the best thing that I have ever done in my life changing, because it really helps me to navigate. It helps me to dig through some of those things that was kind of swept up under the rug. And it helps me to identify. I think the identification is the biggest thing, because when I can identify what it is, then now I can learn how to either live with it, navigate through it, or find solutions for it. And so, not necessarily dealing with a depression. I was talking about that on Tuesday night, but I do deal with stress and anxiety. And so, when I'm going to my therapist and she's helping me and walking me through these things and helping me to recognize these things, I'm like, okay, yes, like I feel so much better. There's not all that guilt that I had before when I went through the postpartum depression. Like, why are you like this? Because it's like, well, I'm human. That's I'm a mom. I have three kids. I'm married, trying to run a bit. Like, I'm human and all these other responsibilities. So these things come with it. It's just how do we respond to those things? So I'm glad that I was able to go to therapy to realize it. Because listen, baby, with an 11-year-old and a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old, the anxiety is like through the roof. Like Alicia said, sometimes it can be through the roof, and it's to the point where I need to get away. I need time to myself. Like, and really, and I know I want to talk about some of those, especially with you, Danielle. Like, what are some of those coping mechanisms or things that we can do on the other end? But before we jump into like some strategies or some tips that moms can take away, we do have a question. How do y'all take it when your kids say really hurtful things? I'm experiencing it now. Oh my God.
I mean, my first suggestion is to really talk to them to find out where that's coming from. We have to, and I'm trying to be mindful because parenting is my thing. I could go on about this for a long time,
Oh,
but
girl.
I always think we have to be mindful that our children do have feelings, right? So think about us as adults. When we snap at somebody and say something like hurtful to them, it's coming from a place that maybe they have hurt us, or someone else has hurt us and that person just triggered it, so now I'm like snapping back at you as a protective factor, right? Those same things happen in our children, right? They're responding to something that has been said to them or anything like that, something that's hurting them. And so I think, so it is important to figure out where that is coming from. What place is that coming from? And I think sometimes as parents, we can be quick to like, just be like, you don't talk to me like that. You don't say that to me. And now the child's feelings has just been shut down, and what they've learned is that their emotions and their feelings don't matter, and now they're going to carry that on. And then we get adults that don't know how to talk about their feelings, right? Don't know how to go to that place and be vulnerable. So my suggestion is to find out where that's coming from and create like a safe, open space for your child to be real honest about, like, well, I said that because of this, or because one time I felt this, and like now that like made me feel this way when this situation happened.
Yeah, and I think that our kids know us better than anyone. Like, they're, besides our spouse, they are the people who are living with us day in and day out. And sometimes the truth hurts. Now, I'm not saying that it's okay for kids to be disrespectful. But
Right.
one of the things I will say, one of the another mom squad member, she was on here a few weeks ago. We were talking about parenting adult children, and it applies here as well. Even if your child is not an adult, and she talked about hearing your child out and then asking them, like, okay, what would you have done differently, to kind of hear what their answer or their results would be in that way. I know that my daughter said something hurtful to me a couple weeks ago, and I was in my feelings. Okay, like, for like a couple days I was in my feelings, but at the end of the day I was just like, okay, how are you going to respond to a point where she can still show up and be comfortable to say how she feels in other situations, but at the same time, like, checking myself. And we don't want to do that as parents, because guess what? Our parents didn't check themselves. And so we don't feel like we're required to do that. But then what happens is, if we can't, it affects our mental health, because we're hearing things that we don't like and it's triggering us. And then now we're responding in a certain way to our kids, and now they have mental health issues. And so it's all a spiral thing. And so we have to make sure, I'm telling you, therapy has been so amazing for me, because it is more than anything causing me to be a different person, causing me to be a different parent, causing me to mature. Like, I'm about to be 38, and I thought I was mature until I started raising some teenagers, and I was like, oh, okay, you still real petty a little bit. It's so it is causing me to really mature myself. And so I hope that helped Alicia. She said, "Oh my God, I'm crying. I needed this." So I'm glad that you were able to catch us tonight, and that you were able to get some resolve to some of your questions and answers. So, ladies, I want to take a quick break. I want to play this video. I want to talk about Momscape, and then on the other end, when we come back, I want to talk about some different coping strategies that may have helped you, Marion, in your personal experience, as well as Danielle, not only your personal experience, but professionally as well. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back right after this. So, guys, I want to play you the promo video for Momscape 2022. So you may be asking me, what is Momscape? Momscape is a getaway for moms to go away for life-changing workshops. We have some dynamic speakers. We're going to have a bunch of fun activities. The videos is going to give you more information. Tickets are on sale right now. Right now, tickets are on sale. I do want to mention that we're like the only conference for moms that has a flex pay option, where moms can make a deposit so that they can lock in their seat as they pay leading up to the conference. So it is June 10th through the 12th, and you'll learn more about it here. I am so excited to host Momscape 2022. I know my team has to be excited as well. Y'all, we have been in a hotel room hosting our events for the last 2 years, resetting the room multiple times during the weekend to accommodate our moms. We're not going to have to do any of that in this new, beautiful conference center. Super excited. The space is super dope. It's going to take place in Atlanta, Georgia, in this beautiful conference center. There has been a multi-million-dollar renovation just completed. There's a restaurant on site. There's an indoor pool. There's an outdoor pool. There's a fitness center. The conference center is over 30,000 square feet. Now, we are not going to take up all of that space. Just not quite yet. Soon, but not yet. But we will need a lot of that space to be able to serve our moms in this ultimate escape. This is where our luxury accommodations for our moms from all over the world is going to take place as well. Look, Momscape was designed to provide a place for moms all over the world to run away to, so that they can learn, they can level up with our life-changing workshops. They can find a peace of mind. They can meet new moms and have fun. Momscape is all about the fun. We're going to have a pool party. We got opening sessions. We got dynamic workshops. We have some dynamic speakers lined up. We have a vendor fair. Listen, at our vendor fair, you're not just going to be able to buy and purchase products. We're going to have resource vendors there too that is going to help you level up in your life, as well as help your kids level up as well. We have a 3-part formal that's going to include a red carpet, a formal dinner, a 90s after party. Y'all not going to be able to get me off the dance floor. We also have some special guests lined up to be with us as well. Can't forget about our Mom Talk Live as we close it out on Sunday. I am so excited. You do not want to miss this amazing 3-day event. VIP and regular admission tickets do go on sale February 6th, but be the first to know by going online right now, clicking the link, and signing the interest list. Do that today. Grab your mama friends, and I will see you in Momscape 2022. All roads lead to June 10th and through the 12th, 2022. Momscape 2022. You have to be there. Okay, so as you can see, scrolling the top across the bottom, 3-day escape from mom. So we have to be intentional. Like we're talking about mental health tonight, right? And so I have created a space where all you have to do is show up. I talked about in a post today that if someone would have told me, you need to get away, you should not feel guilty for getting away. It's okay to get away. If you get away, it's going to send you home a happier and healthier mom. They told me they have the location picked out. They got the dates picked out. I didn't have to worry about trying to get, don't y'all hate when y'all trying to go somewhere, you want to travel or do something, you got to find somebody to go with you? I don't even have to worry about finding someone to go with me because when I get there, there are going to be other like-minded moms who I'm going to be able to connect with. If I had all of that and all I had to do was click a button and sign up, y'all, I would have not dealt with so much stress and burnout and anxiety. I just believe I wouldn't have. And so I have created a space just for you, mama. And guess what? You need to get away. It's okay to get away. You should not feel guilty about getting away. And when you get away and you come to Momscape for this 3-day escape, you're going to be able to press the reset button on life, and it's going to send you home a healthier and happy mom. So I'm so excited to be able to connect with you. I'm excited to be able to escape with you. Make sure you go to the website and go ahead and lock in your seat because I believe and I'm claiming that it's going to be sold out. We have a couple ones left. And so make sure you get your seat locked in. I'm going to bring the ladies back to the stage and we are going to continue our conversation centered around motherhood and mental health. So far, conversation has been amazing. I feel like we could talk about this particular subject for so many hours, hours and hours. I love that song. But we don't have a lot more time left before we leave though. So, we talked about our personal experiences. We wanted to let you know that we're relatable. Like, sis, we're going through the same thing that you're going through. It doesn't matter where we are, what field of work we're in, what professional background, does not matter. Like, we're all moms and we're all in this together. So what we want to do now on the other side of this is we want to make sure that we leave you with some tips and strategies that have personally worked in our lives. And then we have the professional who's going to give you some professional tips and strategies as well. So ladies, we can go ahead and dive into that.
So for me, personally, what I do to manage my mental health, I love so I love hot baths. So I always suggest that to my moms, like take another hot bath, just sitting there doing some deep breathing, or I'll listen to music. I really like that. It gives me an opportunity to just get a break from everything. Um, any physical activity is also really good. So I like to walk. So when it's nice outside, I'm in Rochester, so
I'm about to say, when is it nice there? But I'm just joking.
between like July and August, you got a small window of time. I like to go outside. So my son and I last summer we started getting into hiking. So we would go hiking every weekend. So just going for a walk and doing something physical. My son loves to go to the trampoline park. So when I take him, I buy me a wristband as well, and I'll be out there
Yeah.
jumping. So if you're in Rochester and you see a big kid out there, just know it's me. Um, Also, journaling. I like to write. So, journaling is very therapeutic. It just helps you to kind of like get your thoughts off your chest or off your mind and also maybe process through some things that you've been trying to figure out. So, I always recommend journaling. Um, Also, eating healthy is important. So, physical health and like paying attention to what we put in our bodies is very important. Like, studies have shown that there's a direct connection to our mental health, right? Based on like our physical activity and what we eat.
and it's the connection to just how we feel mentally. So that's an important part. The main thing that I do want to share about coping strategies and self care and all of that is I talk to my moms about being intentional about scheduling their self care, right? So I tell my moms, I always like to connect it to like our kids and like their practices, or if we have meetings for work,
Mm-hmm.
like that. The first thing that we do is we pull out our phone, right, and we put it in our calendar so that we don't forget. And we will take time to think about everything we need to do to get prepared for whether it's a competition or their game practice, what we need to do to get prepared for our meeting at work, whatever it is, we take time to prepare for that. So I tell moms to put that self care strategy or activity in your phone. So if it's like
Mm-hmm.
plan to take me a long hot bath on Tuesday night at 7 p.m., like literally put that in your phone and think about what do I need to do to prepare for this, right? So if I need to have dinner done earlier, if I need to make sure all the kids are bathed by 6 p.m., make sure everybody is in their room with their own activities. Like I'm going to do all of those things to prepare for this bath at 7 p.m. So when I know it gets to 7 p.m., everything and everybody is taken care of so that I can
Mm-hmm.
meet. It's a meeting with yourself, right? I can have this meeting
Mm-hmm.
with myself. So I talked to my moms like about that. Put this on your calendar. So before my sessions end with all of my clients, I always say, okay, so what is the self care strategy you're going to do before we meet again next week? And we'll come up with
Mm-hmm.
something, and I'll be like, okay, what day are you planning to do it? So I want to see you put it on your calendar right now. Like I'm that hard on my clients because I want to know that you are engaging in this self care activity. And what I do is at
Yeah.
my sessions, I'll ask them about it. If they didn't get a chance to do it, let's talk about the barriers that got in the way of you doing that. So we can start breaking those down because self care is so important for us as moms. Like we have to take care of ourselves because we're always taking care of everybody else at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because it's like we know it, but we don't do it. Like there's always this blockage for some reason, which is just I don't know. We have to be intentional, like you mentioned. Mary, and I'll let you go ahead and go.
Um, what has worked for me? I think Danielle kind of said a lot of them. I don't journal unless like it has to. I have to be like at 1,000 to journal because I'm not good with regimens yet. Um, so like I'll pick up my journal and like I might do one thing. Like even I'll try to do prayer journals. I'll try to do, but it'll be one thing January 1st, and you won't see another entry till like June 28th. So,
I'm the
um,
same way. Don't feel
yeah.
bad, Marion. And I love writing, so it's like crazy, but I'm the
Mhm.
same way.
So, yeah, that's not one of my things. Like, it does help. I agree how, like, I see why it helps so many people, but I'm just not good at making it a nightly thing or morning thing. Um, Being outside though, like she said, like today I called with my friends and she answered, I'm like, hey girl, and she's like, ooh, what's going on with you? And I'm like, I don't know, I think it's just because I'm outside. Because I haven't been, it's not like I've been in depressed mode and I've just been um sad or anything, but I was especially upbeat. And I said, I think it's just because I'm outside. I got my window, I was driving, so I was like, I had my window down and the sun was shining and we just getting out of like I survived daylight savings time. I've been saying that all week.
Not me.
So
I've been tired all week.
well, I mean, not just the time, but like the darkness from fall to now.
Oh yeah.
Like we're
Yeah, I
here
remember you talking about that
spring.
before. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and then speaking of the darkness, light. Oh my gosh, light. I did pretty good actually this past daylight saving time, talking about like the fall and the winter. But last year, oh, it wasn't great. Like the seasonal, like I've been diagnosed with clinical depression, but the seasonal definitely adds another layer to the point where I painted my bedroom last year. Was it last year? 2020. I painted my bedroom because like I rent and it was this awful brown color. All the bedrooms are this awful brown color. I painted all those bedrooms white so that it would reflect more light
Mhm.
and it made a world of difference. I got some new light bulbs too. And it made a world of difference, because it was getting to the point where I was like desperate for, like, I would take my whole curtain rod down, not open the curtains. I took the whole thing down. And so that was my thing every morning. So, but yeah, so light, that definitely helps. Um, Taking a minute and just like centering, like for the anxiety, they call it centering or grounding yourself. Um, like being aware of where you are. Like I've heard of multiple things. See yourself as a tree. See yourself. I'm not gonna say that one because I can't remember how it goes. Something about a bubble, but um, but you know, like, but as a tree, you see yourself expanding, but you also see the roots going down in.
Mhm.
Like it helps you to center, and breath work. I believe in that. That helps.
Mhm.
Just anything to like slow your heart rate and clear your mind, that sort of thing. Um, and then writing things down. I'm trying to get better at that, but like making lists and using my calendar, which I'm not great at. I go in and out with that, but it when I do it, it definitely helps. So, um, and grace,
Yes.
grace.
Giving yourself grace.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Giving
Mhm.
myself grace. So, last thing, because I've been with Jamaica for some years now. This is the first time, like literally 2022 is the first time I've actually done what she said when it comes to self care. I've done myself dirty when it comes to self care. So I'm like, 2022 is like the year of prioritizing myself. Um,
Love it.
but I just went. I took myself on a birthday trip. Me and one of my friends went, and it was the first time I did for me. So like, whether it's a staycation, whether it's a whole vacation, girls trip, whatever, like get away. Whatever works for your budget, get away. Drives. If you can get,
Mhm.
if you are a single mom, you can get somebody to watch your kid, or if they're old enough, mine is old enough to be left at home when I go down the street. Go get some ice cream, go to the park and sit real quick. But like that alone time is crucial. Even if it's like if the baby sleep and you sit on the porch, like get some alone time. When I was in college, it was my car because dorms everywhere,
Mm,
everybody's everywhere. But I had once my
yeah.
parents gave me that car, I would just sit in my car.
Mhm.
Just to have, I would say my car is my sanctuary. If I need to scream or whatever, cry, like I had that place. So okay, I'm done. That's it.
No, you're good. One of the things you talked about was the light, and I was like, I maybe that helps me. I don't realize it. Literally, and this is probably like TMI, but I'm still gonna tell y'all. So literally, when I wake up, I use the bathroom, I brush my teeth, and I literally go downstairs. I open every blind in my house, like. And if I'm gone and I'm away and I come back and it's like if I'm on a weekend or something or vacation or whatever, and I'm like, why is it dark in here? Why haven't y'all opened any? I do not like it. Like I love light. Like I have to have sunlight. I literally talked about how I just got a car and I got the moon roof. Like if it didn't have the moon roof, I didn't want it. Like I need the sunlight. Like I don't know. So maybe that helps, and I didn't even realize it until you said it. But I think for me, because I am really good with planning, um, is planning it out. And so for so long, like you said, Danielle, I will put everything. So I'm like at the doctor's office, you checking out. They're like, oh, you need a car, Miss Crowd? Like, nope, I'm already in my phone putting it in. And so if I do it for my kids, why am I not doing the same thing for me? And I am more of a preventative person. Like even when I decided to go to therapy, it was for prevention. It wasn't anything that was necessarily going on immediately in my life. But I'm like, I don't want to go through this midlife crisis. So let me go ahead and get the preventative work done. So I literally schedule in self-care every week. On Fridays, I always tell, I don't know, y'all probably hear me been saying this for years. I don't cook. I have a meal of my choice. I do activities of my choice. If I feel like being with people, I do. If I don't feel like being with people, I don't. Like Fridays is literally my self-care day to show up for Tramika and do what Tramika needs to be done. Period. There are other times where when I'm doing my calendar for the year, every other month has to be a girls' night. The girls' night can be simple. It can be going out to eat. It may even be virtually we getting together or talking on the phone for hours. I don't necessarily always do that. And so whatever that looks like, every other month I have those girl nights. And then at least quarterly, I've been trying to travel COVID kind of, messed that up a little bit. But quarterly, I've been trying to travel. And see, as you can see, I work in like times. So like months, weeks, like that type of thing. Now I used to feel really guilty about this when I first became an entrepreneur, transitioning out of the workplace. I would feel guilty for stopping work in the middle of the day and like going to take a nap or something. My husband for years used to be like, Shamika, like, go watch a TV show, go lay down. Like, why are you complaining about you tired and you can just go lay down? Like, you're the boss. And so now, literally, if I feel like I need 30 minutes away from my desk or I need a nap, I go take that 30-minute nap. Like, I do it because the older I get, the more I recognize that I'm either grouchy, I'm very irritable, my patience is short when I am tired or I do have something going on. So I need to be able to check myself and do what my body needs so that I can go back to functioning properly. And so I totally believe in self-care. And I try my very best. One of the things I added on this year is I haven't been doing good, y'all. Probably went twice so far, trying to do massages every month. That's one of the things that I wanted to add as well. And one of the things I'll say real quick too that Marion said is I always make this joke about when I was broke. So depending on where your budget is, just find things within your budget. If it has to be free, then that's fine. There are a lot of free things to do. We just have to be creative. And I think that most times when people in society show up and they talk about self-care, it's talk about like going to get your nails done, your hair done, getting massages, like all of that is cute and fine, but that it don't always necessarily take all that. And sometimes we don't have the budget or the money to do all that. So what can you do in your control? Not having the money should not be an excuse to not do stuff for yourself. You can literally get together on a phone call virtually with a friend and just laugh and it'll make you feel better. And so we just have to make sure that we're being intentional. I have a happy list, which is a template on my website and it's free. And basically the happy list is for moms to jot down things that is no charge, minimum cost, medium cost, and then maybe your high cost. And so that when it's time for you to execute on your self-care, you can go to your list and be able to say, okay, well, I'm in this particular season of my life, so maybe I need to choose something out of this category. Or, okay, I have this money and I've saved up. And save up as well. If you want to take a trip, no excuses. Save up and take the trip. Whatever you want to do, like it's all in our control. We'll save up for school clothes. We'll save up for camp. We'll save up for all the things. And I'm not like saying that anything's wrong with any of those things. Do the things for your kids. But just like the post I put out the other day, if you're going to go hard for them, I need you to go hard for yourself as well. And so I can go on and on and on about when it comes to self-care because like moms, we have no excuse. Like we know we need to do it. We find time for everything else. We just literally have to find time for ourselves. Like, seriously.
Right. I was going to say that, Shamika, about bringing up the trip is that I was the one that was like, I don't make enough money yet. Make the decision. Even if it's, even if you decide now in March 22 that by December 24, you're going to take a trip for yourself, like make it happen. There's put the money away, promise yourself you won't touch it no matter what, prioritize yourself in that way. I think everybody, unless you're just somebody who is just adverse to traveling, we all need to get out, get a change of scenery for a second to reset, do one of those. I want to do the tiny cabin things that they got in the woods. This is like, and it's just space for just you.
Tell me about your experience. I seen an ad on my Facebook today. They have one here in Atlanta, and it was like it went down because it was like starting at $99 a night. I said, "Yeah, y'all ain't getting nobody out there." That's what.
I'll let you know how it goes when I finally do it. But it's something that I would do for like a weekend. It's like because it looks nice and clean enough on the inside that it's literally just it's time to get away and to be with yourself. And I think that's important for everybody,
Well, don't go to the woods by yourself though. Like, take somebody with you. Listen, like
I have a friend that did it. That she went on like a little retreat for herself.
Ooh, I would be scared. Okay, I couldn't do it by myself. Not in the middle of the woods. And then you talk about the thing that have the big window where you can see out of it. Oh, heck to the no! By yourself.
Or maybe
not by myself.
I'm thinking the pictures make it look more secluded because of the angles, but there got to be like a front desk or something too somewhere. is what I'm
Maybe.
thinking. So, but my friend went to Amish country, and so like in Amish country, the hotel that she had, like it, those are like little towns or whatever, where it's very remote, and like the hotel that she stayed is a hotel, but they were like treehouse type of deals. So
Mhm.
it was still like kind of that feel. So I mean, there's levels. Um,
Yes.
but I mean,
I
I'm just saying, like, whatever it takes. I'm not of I don't like bugs, and I will never do an actual like tent in camp. But I do think that nature has a way of helping us. I don't know, be centered, whatever. I think it's good for us. And to me, that's the Christian side of me is like God's creation is all connected somehow, and I think that He created. I think when we are in His creation, A, we can see Him, and B, like it's therapeutic for us. So that's what I
yeah,
think.
I've heard that too, and I've actually heard like about like going outside barefooted and just like walking on the pavement or in the
Oh
grass. Like
wow.
it's just
Y'all
like
bold.
That's not my thing, but I said I was gonna
some
try it.
energy that goes through you because you're like one with the earth. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily do that because it's just a thing. I don't like my feet to touch stuff, but I've
Mhm.
read those studies where they say like that's helpful.
I
Um,
would do it like out in the country or in the woods. Not like I live in a city.
mhm.
That's nasty. like like if I could go down to Georgia where they got that red dirt or whatever, I probably would try it there. Or
Girl got ants in them that red dirt.
what?
Oh
Oh,
my
never
God.
mind.
Well, well, the red clay is
Yeah.
different than the red dirt. I think I don't know, but I don't know. Some of that got ants in it. You don't need to be stepping in it. I'm just joking though.
But for me, it would definitely be a like I'm doing this for this, and then when I'm done, I'm
Right,
going in
right,
the house and washing my feet.
Yeah,
right.
no, I'm with you on
New
Right.
experiences to take a rest. I think we should definitely.
that.
Um,
I was gonna add too, as you all were talking, something else I thought about is that, and I know I talked about this on our other call, but it's important not to compare ourselves, right? And so that was one of
mm,
my struggles in the beginning. Is just like comparing myself to other moms or hearing my like the routines and stuff that moms had in place. I remember
mhm,
I was talking to a mom. This was when my son was like 3 or 4. I was talking to a mom that her son went to the same school, and we were just like talking about like our kids. And she's like, "Oh, what time does Corbin go to bed?" And I'm like, about like 8:30 ish. And she was like shocked. She's like, "Oh no, like my son is in bed by 7." And I'm like, "Am I doing something wrong?" Wait a minute. Like, so, just learning to not compare ourselves to other moms because we each have our own lifestyles, our own households. Like, we choose how we get to run our household. So, just remembering that comparison is the thief of joy. I always um, tell my moms that. And also, when it comes to routines and things, it's important to sometimes let those routines go if you can, right? So if you're having a night where you it's just rough, like you're having a rough day. I've had moments where I'm just like, my son is just not gonna make it in bed by 8:30 tonight because I just have so
mhm,
much other stuff I'm trying to get done, or the baby is crying and I'm trying to tend to her. And sometimes, and then I'll just like let that go. Like I'll take that pressure off of myself. Like, okay, he might make it to bed by 9, and that's okay, right? I need to give myself some grace and not know like, and knowing that if I don't make it getting him to bed by 8:30 or getting the baby down by a certain time, like it's okay. Tomorrow is still going to come. Like the world is not
not gonna end right.
right?
Mhm.
Um, but also with us taking care of ourselves, you can include your children in on some of these strategies that you're using, and you will be teaching them how to take care of their mental health, right? So when I
Mhm.
know I need a moment or I just need like 20 minutes to myself, I'll tell my son like, "Hey, we're gonna take a break. You get a book and you go to your room. I'm gonna go into my room and just have some quiet time because I'm having a little bit of a rough time." And he'll be like, "Okay, mom, like I'll set the Alexa, because if you say 20 minutes, he like, all right, it's been 20 minutes." So,
Mhm.
but he gets excited about setting the Alexa, and he'll go in his room for quiet time. I go in my room for quiet time, right? We do deep breathing together. Like I've taught him, like, breathing through things when you get upset or when you get or you're worried. Like we breathe. We do hiking. I talked about that. Like, so I include my son on these things so that he can learn these strategies for himself. But also at the same time, I'm getting a chance to take care of my mental health because these are
Mm-hmm.
things that are also fun for me. Um, and I know I said before about like eating healthy and like exercising and things like that. There's also, when we take care of our physical health, as far as like outside, right? Like when I get my hair done, I feel better. Like when I
Mm-hmm.
maybe get a facial or something like that, or if I'm taking good care of my skin, like I feel good. Like I feel like that pours into my mental health. And so, one of the things that I am doing in my city, so for everyone who's tuning in, who's in Rochester, or if y'all gonna come to Rochester, come.
Yes.
I am planning a maternal health expo. And what that will look like is we will have a location where we will have different organizations and businesses that are there that have services and supports just for moms, right?
Love
And
it.
to be a wide range of things. So whether it's healthcare, like I said, people who might have beauty stuff for our bodies, for our skincare. I have people coming that are going to be selling like healthy smoothies and things like that. Like all of the things that we can tap into to take care of our mental health will be in this one-stop shop. Um,
Love it.
we are still solidifying the date, but I can say it will be in June for sure. So just stay tuned for all my people that are in Rochester. Just know we got some things coming down the pipeline for us moms.
Yes, I love it. And so if you could also, Danielle, when the live ends, if anybody wants to come see you for services, if you can put your email and your website, I actually you might be able to do it in the comments now on Facebook so that they can contact you directly because you gave a lot of gems tonight. Mary and you as well. So thank you both for being able to share your experience. One of the things I just wanted to say real quick and piggyback off what you said and point out one thing that getting your kids involved and teaching them how to take care of their mental health is absolutely amazing. I'm glad that you touched on that. And then most times when clients come to me, it's because they want to learn the routines and strategies. But if you're a mom out there that's listening live or whether you're listening to the replay and you're like me where you already have those things in place, one of the things Danielle mentioned was like letting them go. And so one of the things I would say is like football has already rolled around. I don't know why it has to be year round. They get on my nerve. Like we just stop watching the Super Bowl. He got to go to practice already. Anyways, so when he goes to practice, I think it's super late. His bedtime is 9:30. He's not getting out of practice to 9. So there's no way that I can maintain that 9:30 bedtime. But when I tell y'all, I'll be on his neck every time he get in the door trying to make him like, okay, if it's not gonna be 9:30, it need to be 4 minutes after, 5 minutes after, 7 minutes after, right? And literally last night, that's why I'm glad you mentioned that. I had to say, Tramika, it is okay if this boy go to bed an hour later. And so I'm like, the new goal on football nights is 10:30. And although I personally don't think it's enough hours, he's in it. We're allowing him to go to the practice. And so I had to shift and make the adjustment. And it took so much pressure off of me because I'm not like, hurry up, do this, hurry up. You're done yet? You got in the shower yet? Because then now I'm frustrated when it's really supposed to be like when they're getting ready for bed because I have older kids. That's like when I'm easing into my downtime, my personal time. And so I'm so glad that you mentioned that because that's super important. And it's for the moms who like to have control and do the routines and stuff. So thank you for that. So real quick, ladies, before we go, um, let me put your information up here, Danielle, so they can see it. But real quick before we go, so we always have a fun question of the week, and typically sometimes my son likes to help me come up with these fun questions. And so tonight he's actually gonna come on. He's gonna come on with us, and he's going to ask you ladies the fun question, and you'll get an opportunity to answer it, and then he gets the opportunity to come on live. And so let me bring him from backstage. Hey, Terrell, we don't see you or hear you. Hold on, I'm gonna try to add you again, okay? I don't know if you need to allow your camera, but we can't see you or hear you. And if you can't come up, just come up here in my office and just get behind me in the camera real quick. Look, we gonna make some adjustments right now and ask the question. You come, yeah, it like has you frozen or something. I don't know why.
Okay.
I will say that
The question is, would you rather have the Bebe kids as your kids or the Rugrats as your kids?
Ooh. Which Rugrat?
What you mean, which Rugrats?
Like, I'll take Tommy and Dill, but not Angelica.
No, all the Rugrats. No, all the Rugrats are all the Bebe kids.
I'm gonna take
probably
the Bebe
kids.
Y'all gonna take the Bebe kids? I said the Rugrats.
I don't want to be around no little girl that act like Angelica.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bebe kids. They
Okay, they said the Bebe kids.
Yeah, I think they seemed a little bit more independent.
And they looked out for each other. They
Down.
were very good siblings to each other.
Ride or die.
They did look out for each other. See, I just think that Angelica needed some type of discipline and she would be okay. Marion's like,
And the mom squad, no, I want my daughter so bad. She can't come out like that.
Nah, she won't. She won't with you for sure, not at all. Okay, before we go, I know you were about to say something, Danielle, so I want to make sure you have an opportunity to mention it.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I am available. Like if anyone has any questions about anything. Also, I don't necessarily like public speaking, but I love teaching, so I'm always available for like any presentations or talks or anything around maternal health, around maternal mental health and parenting. Those are my things. So
Yes, book her. She is a beast. So we are excited. We already don't solicit her for our mom squad retreat in November. So you can't have her that weekend, but you can have her any other weekend. So ladies, again, thank you so much. I feel like we can go hours on this conversation. So we'll have to have like a part 2 and talk some more, share our experiences some more. But thank you so much for your time and your expertise and your experience tonight. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for all of you all who tuned in live. And then thank you for those who went back and watched the replay. It's a very important conversation. So make sure that you initiate the conversations. We have to be the ones who's going to start. And make sure you reach out for help. That was one of the things I wanted to mention. Danielle is here, or whoever else you decide to reach out to. But knowing that it is okay to get help as a mom and making sure that you reach out. So that's it, y'all. Y'all have a good night. I am so grateful for you all joining us. Make sure you join us next week, same time, new topic, same candid conversation. Have a good night.
good night.